Grace Nabagala. Shot number 4. As I say that, on the ball is Lydia Namabiro. Show and go by Lydia Namabiro. And it's strike time by Uganda. Dabima, are you surprised?
No surprise there. I mean, Uganda have been a very dominant side. They're ranked third in Africa. Burkina Faso ranked 11th, so no surprise there. She clearly outpaced her opponents.
Yeah, rankings sometimes don't tell the full story, but in this case, with just a minute on the kickoff, there's no doubt that Uganda mean business. The last time they were in Nairobi, Nyayo Stadium, they were in a final against Kenya. They're really, really good. Watch this kickoff here by Juliet Nandalaua.
Yep, the extra twos were added on by Janati Nandudu. Let's see what Uganda has in store for us.
Looks like a turnover. Yeah, quick turnover there. Quick play again. They are a feisty team here, the Cranes ladies.
Yep, always playing with grit. Quick show and go all the way into the try box. And that looks like Peace Lekuru.
Try time, Uganda. Second try for the Lady Cranes. Peace Lekuru.
The main business here, the ladies from the eastern part of the border, western part of the border rather, Uganda. Look at that, just a show and go there by Peace Lekuru.
Peace Lekuru has also played for the Shogun ladies at some point, also played rugby league internationally in York Valkyrie in England.
Yeah, lots of experience here from the Uganda ladies. And it's showing on the field already. You know, in terms of size, Burkina Faso are not that small, really, to be honest. I mean, they seem a bit balanced as far as size is concerned, if you can call it that, on the physical side.
Yeah, but then it comes down to their conditioning in the game of sevens, doesn't it?
There you go. There you go. I mean, come down to rugby knowledge, of course. Size does help, but in seven, speed and rugby knowledge, in rugby in general, but it makes a difference. Oh, that looks like an early tackle there, so it's a penalty. Quick tap and play there.
That's number 9 there, Lona Amoli with the try under the sticks.
Time, Uganda.
Uganda piling on the points so far. This is what they want to do. They want to prove their dominance in this tournament.
Well, if you have any doubt whether the trip from Busia was a holiday trip for the ladies from western part of the border, I think it's pretty obvious here. They are here on the mean business. The women from Kampala.
Janati Nandundu missing that conversion, though. You're not going to want to miss that in a high-stakes game.
Well, having said that, the kickoff as well just went wayward. And she didn't look happy because Janati missed the conversion at the center post and then missed again the kickoff. They can't afford those kind of things against some of the better sides, you'd think.
No, they'll be punished for sure if it was a different game. But let's see what Burkina Faso have. Quick tap. Show and go. She's taken it into contact. Ball has been recycled. It's a slow recycle though, but let's see what they can do with it. Oh, and she's through. Still up, haven't gone down. Uganda haven't brought her down yet. Burkina Faso over the ruck. And Uganda forced the turnover. Uganda recycling the ball. And ref calls for a high tackle. Peace Lekuru, quick tap. She's got someone on the outside. That is Janati Nandundu. She's got yards in front of her and nobody there. Try under the sticks.
What do you think? Think she'll convert her own try, Janati?
Yes. Well, going by the last one, you never know what might happen, but
here we go.
I think she'll get this one in. Let's see.
Here we go. She doesn't have to go too far. It's up to her, Janati. Oh, she gets the conversion
Make
this
sure
time.
to get this one and makes up for the last one.
You know, I would expect Burkina Faso to use a bit of their size here. I think they have on average, I think they are a bit taller. I think they have a bit of a height here. But like you said, rugby knowledge is important. I'm also impressed with the Uganda Cranes kickoffs. I think they do. I rate them a bit higher to get better kickoffs from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the kickoffs. That's not what you'd expect of this Ugandan side.
I'm not sure about that call from the referee because the tackling player from, we said that, oh, that's a thumping tackle defense recovery from Burkina Faso.
Yeah, well done for getting back. And now getting back onside. But Uganda have numbers out on the outside. This should be another try. Easy one again, under the sticks. That's Uganda's Lydia Namabiro with the try.
I was just going to say earlier, a couple of phases earlier, I felt that on the rack, I think the tackler didn't roll away in good time, so that didn't allow the Burkinabe players to come and clear up the rack. And then when they came, they were tripped by the player who didn't roll away, and then the referee penalized them for losing their feet and gave Uganda the penalty, which eventually, that's a couple of racks before, which then allowed Uganda to get possession, and eventually Namabiro, Lydia, who had a very good Safari Sevens.
Yeah, well, errors sometimes happen in the game and you've just got to play on. Penalty, Burkina Faso ball. She's up with it quickly. Let's see what they can do. She does well to stay on her feet, but her supporting player doesn't quite make it there in time.
No, this is really smart rugby from our neighbors from the West. You know, every time they get a penalty, they just scratch quickly because the Burkinabe players are not setting themselves. The transition into defense is not done quickly.
Yep.
So it's taking time for them to get back in defense.
Yeah.
And that allows them then the Uganda players to scratch quickly and play because they are then the offside.
Definitely dominating this game in almost every aspect.
Janati with the conversion there, so it's a full score there at halftime. That's a 7-pointer there, as we see that last try there by Uganda. Scored there by Juliet Nandawula, but then eventually converted by Janati Nandudu. And that final conversion by Nandudu makes it look like Uganda will sort of easing their way into this one.
Yeah, definitely easing their way into this one. I wonder if they'll make any stuff. Uganda lead Burkina Faso 40-0. Uganda with the kickoff. Let's see if Burkina Faso can manage to put some points on the board. Better kickoff from Uganda. Burkina Faso failed to. You can't afford to not catch kickoff.
Well,
luckily for them, the Ugandans knocked it. So that will be a scrum in favor of Burkina Faso.
Well, in my simplistic view, you can argue that the ladies from Burkina Faso would use their physical attributes, take advantage here, but as you said, Damima, it's not as simple as that. But I think the opportunity, especially around the set piece, there's some tall players there, there's some big players. Hopefully that can make some sense for them. Yasmin Koulibaly is good height. Yasmin.
I think Uganda are just a very well-seasoned side, and to make an impact against them, you've really got to know what you're doing, and you've got to be very intentional in your style of play.
That is true. They try to string some passes here. Yasmin on the ball. There you go, using her height. Some good face play here by the Burkinabes. Yasmin again on the ball. Show and go. She's tackled, but I think she's holding on just too long. And a turnover here from Uganda Cranes.
Yep, Uganda with the steal. And are we going to see another Ugandan try? Yes, we are. That's Peace Lekuru with a try. Out wide. This will be a harder kick for Janati Nandudu. Let's see if she's the one who'll get the honors.
Yeah, with some good work there by Lona Amoli, who breathed the tackles of the Burkinabe defense. And they did a one-hand inside offload there to Peace, who eventually got the try. Lots of questions from the Uganda Cranes attack. And answers not coming here from the Burkinabe defense as we make some substitutions. Maybe they can get some reprieve here from the subs, from the bench. Seems to be a bit of confusion there from the bench, but substitution is done eventually.
That's a good take from the Burkinabes, but a very powerful counter ruck from the Ugandans. Although they managed to retain possession, taking the ball in, and a successful ruck. Ball is going out. Let's see if it goes out to the wing. No. Ugandans covering that wing so that the Burkinabes don't have that space to pass the ball out.
Yeah, from the side referee says it's a good counter ruck, but illegally done so.
Burkinabe still with the ball, still marching on over the halfway line for the first time in this half.
Yes, it is.
Ugandans being very tenacious in their style of play and their tackles, going into those rucks. The Burkinabes really can't catch a break.
Well, it's easy to defend this one because they're not using the width. You can see already Janati just closing the wing out already, so the ball can't go out. So it forces the Burkinabe players come in, and then it's a real hustle here from the Uganda defense. That looks a bit forward to Janati.
Yeah, that was an unforced error, but I think they're looking to get that ball back in the scrum. However, again, these are those unforced errors we talked about from the Ugandan side. If this were a top quality side, they would be punished.
Yeah, as we see the shot there from Steve Lewis, the coach from Burkina Faso, or the coach for Burkina Faso. Just trying to scratch his head to see what can he do more. How much firepower does he have on his bench, maybe to make some additions. He seems to be calling for some substitutions here as the scrum here time for Burkina Faso.
Well, let's hope the substitutions will be able to make a difference for their team. Uganda shoved that scrum back about 5 meters, but Burkinabe still have the ball, which is good. Getting caught in contact. Again, the Ugandans are relentless with their tackles, just bringing them down every time. Support play not as good as you'd want it from the Burkinabes. You'd expect a little better. You've got too many players isolated in contact.
Look, it's obvious that the Lady Cranes are a more seasoned rugby side. Make no mistake of that. But it is called an Africa Sevens tournament for a reason, because it includes other African nations here, and the ladies from Burkina Faso are doing their best here, but they're facing a really, really tough opponent in the Lady Cranes. Very compressed in this attack of theirs, Burkina Faso, making it very easy for the Uganda Cranes defense, and already looks like a turnover here. But again, they get penalized for getting off their feet. I think the referee is concerned here because I think that's the third time they're getting off their feet.
Lots of errors and penalties awarded to the Burkina Faso team. I'm a little concerned about the Ugandan team.
That's a good point you make, Damima. That's a good point because I think they're more, well, without respect to Burkina Faso, they're the more organized, more structured team. Just need to be a bit more patient and then build their time and when to come for the turnover. Substitution here, Unity Namulala comes in. We get a shot there from the colorful Uganda supporters.
I think given that Uganda are so far ahead, I wouldn't expect so many unforced errors. I would expect better composure from the Lady Cranes.
I think they seem too eager here, Uganda. You'd think they're the good team, they're the better team. You'd think the better side. Look out for Grace Nabagala. Here we go. Good pass there to Susan Adong. Susan with the ball. Show and go, Susan. Oh, she gets tackled. Looks forward. Yeah, he does knock on. It's a knock on. You're right. I don't know. They seem to be just overdoing it here. Yep. I mean, over elaborate. Just keep it simple. You'd think. First of all, they're struggling with the kickoffs. I mean, kickoffs don't look so confident. The kickoffs there. But they're still leading by 45 points to 0, to be fair to them. And sometimes, as they say, you can only play what's in front of you.
Yeah, I think the Lady Cranes have done well to pile the points on, but going into their next game and possibly into the semi-finals or quarterfinals, they need to work on all these unforced errors because they will cost them going forward.
I mean, you can argue that with 45 points for the board, that they wouldn't mind about that, as we see some possession rugby here from the Burkinabes, but there's thumping tackles here coming from the Lady Cranes. Even as the tackles come through here, well held there by Susan Adong. Burkinabe keeping possession, dummy, show and go, no, not working. Again, off their feet, Uganda. Yes, off their feet. Referee calls them again.
Just
too
that
eager, just too
discipline
eager.
We're talking about, yes.
Yeah, just too eager, the Cranes. I mean, they're the better side here, and the points on the board demonstrate that.
And
Look
there's
at that.
the
Don't get me wrong. That's
big counter ruck from the Ugandans. Turnover, I believe. That was Janati Nandundu with that turnover. And now Lydia Namabiro with the try under the post.
Try.
If you've been to the expressway on Kampala to Entebbe, every time you see any government official motor vehicle, motorcade going there, there's also an escort. And in this case, Lydia Namabiro got an escort there towards the try line. But again, Janati missed that conversion.
Which is what we've been talking about, for the whole of this game. But the game's over now, and Uganda win it 50. That is half a century 2-0.
It's interesting that we felt that Uganda were not playing very well in that one, but at the end of the day, they thumped them 50 points to 0. Now the next game.